7-7, problem solving, converting rates. So problem solving. This here is almost identical to what we were doing in section 6. So it's not that much of a step beyond what we were doing. Okay, so rates. The one change is before, we always were starting with like days or ounces or something like that. Now that we have this word rates in here, the big difference is rates have 2 units. So rates, and you could write it, you could skip it, it's up to you, but they have 2 units. And those units have to be different. So an example would be something like miles per hour, or cans per day. I have down, like how many cans of Mountain Dew do you drink per day. Here's the key, so I'm going to put it in red for dramatic emphasis. Use conversion ratios like 7-6 to change the units to what you want. So use conversion ratios. Like in 7-6 to change the units to what you want. So we're really doing the same thing as last time, but it's going to look a little bit different. So if I were to pick an example, so we'll say example 1. I'm going to say you get 65 pieces of junk mail each week. So 65 pieces of junk mail. Thank you, Comcast. Each week. So then how many per day?
What is junk mail considered?
Stuff you don't want. So for me, it's like stuff from Comcast, stuff from AT&T, things like that. Here's my concern. Some of you that are better at math are looking at this, and you already know in your head what you need to do, and that's fantastic. The problem is you're going to start getting it where we have like several steps, and it gets harder. So please, practice the steps on the easy ones, and then when you get to like the real butt kickers, you'll be fine. So if we take this here, I'm going to start out with this whole 65 pieces of junk mail each week. Do you agree? I could write that as a fraction saying 65 pieces over what? Over 1 week, right? So that's just that first part. 65 pieces of junk mail each week means I get 65 pieces per division, 1 week. Now, our answer is supposed to be this, how many per day? In other words, we're looking at like, we want our final answer to be pieces per day. How many pieces of junk mail are we getting per day? So we need to take and do something to my green fraction to change it over to pieces per day. Now, I can't get my pieces to cancel out because I have my pieces in the numerator. I want to keep them in the numerator, agreed? But I need to get day in the denominator. So do you agree my fraction here has to have a day in the denominator to give me the day in the denominator there? Okay. Now we want to find some way to have the week cancel out. So if I put a week up here, then that's going to cancel with my week in the denominator, right? So the blue fraction, we need to make it where the numbers work so that this really just equals 1. Because you agree, I could do 65 times 1, and I'm not changing the value of it at all. Okay. So how many weeks and how many days? Perfect. So do you agree, I could say 1 week over 7 days, and I'm really just kind of multiplying by 1, because 1 week is 7 days. The units are different, but the value is the same amount of minutes or seconds or whatever. And if I do that now, I get 65 pieces times 1, so I end up with then 65 over here. So 65. And I have 1 times 7 in the denominator, and I end up with days. So to get my final answer, I just have to do 65 divided by 7, right?
9.28574.
Okay. So if we round it, we could say I get 9.3 on average pieces per day, which is a little high for my family, so maybe I had some friends that signed me up for all the different like mailing lists or something. Does that make sense? I have a second one. Want to jump to a second one? Everybody have this one copied down? Okay. So my second example, example 2. The average American family tosses 540 pounds of metal per year.
How do you get metal though?
Like tin cans, old swing sets, sledgehammers, I don't know. Okay, so if we wanted to say how many ounces per day. So this one is going to take multiple steps. For some of you, it's going to be real easy to get intimidated. The key is just take it in little steps. They're actually kind of fun if you don't get intimidated by them. But we could start then with this 540 pounds of metal per year, right? So what do we write for that? Our fraction is
540 pounds over 1 year.
perfect, 1 year.
1.5.
Good? Okay, now we want to end with ounces per day. And I don't know if I'll fit it all in one line, so I'm going to put my little ounces per day down here. So we need to change years to days, and we need to change pounds to ounces. Which one do you want to tackle first? Emerson, you seem awake.
Pounds to ounces.
Okay, pounds to ounces. So I want to have ounces then in my numerator up here. And I want to have my pounds cancel out. So you agree to have them cancel, I need to have pounds in the denominator like that. So 1 pound is how many ounces?
Well, 1 pound.
60, nice. So 16 ounces is the same as 1 pound, agreed? And now when we have that, our pounds cancel out. So far, once we do the math here, we're going to be left with ounces per year. You kind of see where I'm getting at? I have ounces in the numerator, per divided by year. Okay. Now we need to change year to days. What fraction will give us that? Well, where do we put the years to get it to cancel? Yep, perfect. Because then my year here will cancel with my years there. And we want to end up with day. The other way to look at it is though we wanted days in the denominator down there. So we need to have days in the denominator up here. So 1 year is how many days?
365.
Perfect, 365. So to get our final answer, we're going to have to do a couple steps. We're going to have to do 540 times 16, and then that answer divided by 365. You kind of with me? Should I do that in 2 steps, like write it as a fraction, or just do it all at once? I'll do it as, okay, you can do it all at once if you want. I'm going to do this. 540 times 16 gives me 8,640. And when I do that, the only units left in the numerator are ounces. So I have 8,640 ounces. In my denominator, I have 1 times 365. So I have 365. And then days. So final answer, then you do the 8,640 divided by 365. And we get, anyone have it? 23.7. Nice, 23.7. And that'd be ounces per day. It seems like you're getting it, right? And when you kind of have, when you get these like multiple step ones, you either can look at it as though it's kind of fun, or you can like start getting all stressed out about it and, try to look at it like it'll be fun.